All right, be getting started here in just a moment. Just waiting for everything to load up. Where's our intro? Hmm. All right, I guess we'll get it from there. And let's go ahead and start the stream. Welcome back. Last time, previously on Ganymede Devi stream, we implemented our. Well, we got points working and implemented our doors, a way to spend them. Let me turn down this music a bit. A little distracting. So we can acquire points by hitting the target. And then we can come over here and open the door. And go on to a new area. So that's about how that's supposed to work. However, I think we're probably going to come across some bugs with that we need to clean up today. The first thing is, I don't think we gated the purchase. I think you can probably purchase twice. Yeah, see, it deducted twice there. So we need to fix that. Yeah, see, it's going to start throwing errors and stuff. This. And then the other thing I want to do, if we open up, I think it's in here. No, it's going to be in our character blueprint. So I don't love the way that this is initializing the interaction. When we interact, I'm getting all of the actors that are running this interactable interface. And then I'm basically running through each of them to do a check to see if I'm overlapping with it. And that's just not great. It works for us right now because we only have one of those actors in the level. But I'm imagining, you know, a level with at least 8 major rooms, probably some minor rooms. A lot of those rooms having doors to get into them, not just doors, but things like weapons that you can purchase, like off the wall or whatever. Like, you know, pay 1,000 points to get this rifle, whatever. Something that closely approximates what it like the COD Zombies mystery box, where you go and you pay a set amount of points and you get a random weapon. That'll need to run this interface. Power-ups that you purchase from like vending machines. If we're doing the direct COD ripoff, it'd probably be something different, or potentially some vending machines, some other things. Either way, that's going to need to run the interactable interface. If there's any like secret things within the level that you need to interact with, like, again, referencing back to COD Zombies, like they would have like little hidden Easter eggs where you turn on 3 radios and then the song plays for the next round or whatever it was, you know. Things like that are going to run this interface. Anything that maybe potentially would upgrade weapons would run this interface. So you can see we're going to have potentially dozens. I don't think 100 really. Probably not 100, but like I could see 40 or 50 things in the level doing this. And every time I hit that interact key, I don't want to be running this for loop. It's not the worst for loop in the world. I mean, it just isn't. It's, you know, really simple, right? At least right now it is. But I worry about it in case this grows at all, and I just don't think this is the best way to do it. I don't know if we're going to implement multiplayer or not, but this could also be an issue with multiplayer with testing for the overlapping actors. Like, what if 3 players are overlapping different purchasable things? I don't think this is how we want to do that. So what I want to do is implement a line trace or a sphere trace to see what actor am I pointing at right now when I'm purchasing. When I'm hitting this purchase button, what actor am I actually trying to interact with? What singular actor? Is it running the interface? If so, send it the interface message that we want to send it. I think that's how we're going to go about this. I do want to clean that up. I want to clean up the double purchasing thing, which should be simple. It should just be like a Boolean check. In fact, we could probably clean that up right now. So on this gate sequence, I think I want to do that here. The thing I'm worried about now is, am I going to have to do this on every single blueprint that runs the interface? And if so, is there some way to do that here instead? Probably not. I probably do need to do it here. If not, if I think of a different way of doing it, then I can always revisit it. So let's come back here. And we need a new variable. Call this has been purchased. Boolean is fine. And we want a branch node, but if I just type if, it'll pull up branch. So if it has been purchased, then we do nothing. If it has not, actually, let's do we'll do this way. It's fine. So if it has not been purchased, then run our purchase sequence. We'll move all of those purchase sequence things down a rung on our sequence. And then we want to set has been purchased true. And that should gate off any double purchasing. Let's hit compile, save, and try it out. So I'll need like 1,500 points, I think. Be more than enough. Still double purchased. Huh. Let's think through that. Actually, let's watch the execution flow just to double check that everything's working. In fact, I'm going to disconnect these just for testing purposes. Can't see where I'm aiming. Okay. Oh, I know what's happening. Okay. So it's not actually opening it twice, it's purchasing twice. Because we're not doing the purchase over here. We do need to check that before we even get to this point. That is true. We do need to figure out a way to do that in our player bit here. Okay. Think I have a way to do this. If we do that inside, we do it inside of our purchase function instead of the unlock. I should just be able to reconnect all my stuff to my sequence. Reconnect that. Grab those. We should just be able to implement the exact same thing here. And we'll do it before this points check too. Because if it's already been purchased, we don't want to run through anything else, ideally. If it has. Can I use a sequence in here? I don't see why not. It'll be a little cleaner if I can, I think. Oh, no, it won't. Well, maybe. Eh. Yeah. We'll just do it without. Okay. So, if it has not been purchased, let's go ahead and say that it's been purchased. Well, no, we don't want that one there because if we don't have enough points, then we're not going to do the purchase either. So, and this should work. All right. Compile, save. Again, I'm going to come back here and in my event graph, I'm going to disconnect these just for testing. I want to make sure that I'm able to hit it twice before it destroys. So okay, so that's enough points. And it is not letting me purchase a second time. So that's perfect. So I'm going to reconnect my sequence here. File save. And run it again. Perfect. Mostly perfect. There's still some other weird stuff to deal with, but okay. So the next thing that we wanted to clean up was we want to get rid of this junk. So instead, I'm going to come in here and do a sphere trace by channel. We don't need the multi-sphere. We are going to start it from we'll start from our arrow component, which is ideally center character for us. I like the arrow component because it also gives us that forward vector. In fact, we've already set up a line trace. We can use a lot of the same math. I believe that was in the rifle. No, not the pickup rifle. Weapon component. The yes. I'm going to drag this off to another screen so I can look at this while we're setting it up. I want the world location, world rotation. I wonder if this comes with a forward vector. It does. We'll work on that in a clear all of this out and give ourselves a bit more space to work within our comment box. Go ahead and promote both of these variables. So we'll call this arrow location. Oh, we don't want to do this from the arrow. We want this from the camera. Yeah. Uh, camera. Well, we should be able to drag in a reference to camera and get the location and rotation there. rename this camera location. File. Camera rotation. Sorry, get world. No, we're already doing that. We need to promote to variable. Camera rotation. Okay. Get forward vector from that. Times float. Make sure I have the exact same one. Oh, yeah, it's gonna do that anyway. Make a new one called interact. Oops. We'll start it off at about 1,000. We'll start it off at like 650. Okay. It automatically does that. We'll promote this. Call that. Enter forward vector. Okay. And then to build up our line trace, we'll start at camera location. Or sorry, our sphere trace. Go ahead and pull this in. We'll add camera location to forward vector for our end location. Radius, I think 50 is probably good. That's how big the sphere is going to be. It doesn't need to be very large. Just big enough to give us some leeway, right? So we're not looking for a direct line trace hit. That should be good. Out hit actor. Wonder if there's a way. See if it's running the Oh, it doesn't matter. We can just call the interface on it. What would it be? Purchased? Yeah, we just send the purchase message from self. Yeah, we just sent that. The other thing I'm curious about is we're telling the player to spend points here. And I'm wondering if we can just send that along and call this in the player. Like so. If we do that, we need to make sure that we disconnect it here. For now, we'll keep this in here, but disconnect it just in case we need to come back to it. Compile and save. And give it a test run. So that's my sphere trace. That might be a little longer than I want. Like, a lot. Standing here-ish. We might back that down to something like 450, but that's okay. Yeah, we need to back that down quite a bit. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. The nice thing is we save that off as our interactive distance. So we can back in here, change one variable. Try again. A little better. Like it didn't even hit right there. Oh no, I'm too broke. Okay. That's pretty close. I could maybe take 50 more off of it or 25. Try backing it down to 325. Well, 315. Because ideally, let's go ahead and points. Ideally, I don't want to be able to purchase it here, but I do want to here, right? I want that to line up pretty well. I'm going to back up. All right, so can't do it from there. That's a little too far. Just barely. Yeah, let's do 325. A little extra leeway is not a problem. We just don't want to be purchasing. We're not prompting to purchase, though. Oh, no points yet. No, let's go back up. Let's give it a little extra leeway, actually, because I want to be able to purchase it from across. If I'm looking all the way across, we'll call that good for now. We might come back and shift things around a little bit later. All right. I am going to give Unreal a break for a minute, and I'm going to go get some water because Unreal was chunking a little bit. And then we'll at least get some health set up on our character. So I'll close that. And I will be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, we're back. So, one last thing on these interactable objects, purchasable objects, whatever we want to call it. Ideally, that message that prompts you to purchase would also be tied to either the same. It wouldn't be the same sphere trace. It would have to be a constant one. I want to figure that out because I'd like it to be on the same. Like when you look at it, when it's ready to be purchased, when you can purchase, it shows the text. And that wouldn't be too hard to set up, I don't think, although it could be costly if we're constantly checking for that. The other challenge is that the way that we have this set up currently, the doors are purchasable from either side. Oh, there we go. They're purchasable from either side, and we have text renders on both sides. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I want it to display like that whenever you look at it from one side. So you'd have to check which side you're hitting and stuff. I don't know. That's something that I can clean up in the future. I'm just making a mental note of it now. That is something I'd like to change. So the challenges are the cost of sphere tracing on every tick. I don't want to do that. So how do you get around that? And then I'm wondering if it's like when they're in the box, then you can start tracing. So it's something I'm gonna put on the back burner for now, but it's something that's on my mind to investigate. So we'll close this, and we want to work with our first person character. Go ahead and clean this up just a tad. It's actually pretty clean already. I'm pretty happy with the progress we made on this, by the way. We got done what I set out to do, which was set up the sphere trace and close off double purchasing. Oh, okay. All right. Next thing we want to do is set up some variables for health. These will be on, let's call it max health, be a float. Duplicate that. Current health. also afloat. For now, we'll do 100 as max health and just work. It's a very simple way to do it. So you can think of everything in terms of percentages really easy. So we'll set max health to 100. Eventually, I'm going to have something in the game that allows you to get more health so you can take extra hits, like a power up probably. COD, zombies, analogy here would be like Juggernog. And that'll bump it up to like 150 or something. Ideally, every hit's going to cost you, 40 points. You can take 2, but if you take 3 before you start healing, you're in trouble. Like you'll go down, you'll game over, blah, blah, blah. But if you take 2 and then you have your buffer period, so it's hit, wait, heal, back to 100. Something like that. We'll have to figure out the timing and stuff, but that's ideally what we're striving for here. We probably also want to set up another blueprint interface. It wouldn't be necessary to set one up if this is just going to continue being a single player game, which it might. It may just say a single player game. I don't know. Currently, I'm planning on that being the case, but never say never. If we do expand this out to 2-player, 4-player, whatever it might be nice to have an interface so that we can talk to different characters a little easier. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to compile, save, close, and let's come back to our code, blueprints, blueprint interfaces, new, blueprint, interface. Call this DPI health damage. It's very possible we might actually also be, the other reason for doing this is we might also be able to fold in dealing damage to enemies and working with enemy health all on the same interface, which would be ideal. So, all right, go ahead and open that up. New function. We're going to call this take damage. And we'll add another one called heal. Call it replenish health. We probably want 2 of these. We probably want one for quick healing and one for slow healing. Just trying to think of what to name them. We'll call one full heal. And another one called overtime. We can always come back and rename these, but for now, we will primarily work on take damage. Damage taken. Sorry, damage dealt. And we can come back and add inputs or outputs if we need them. Back to our first person blueprints. Come to our class settings, interfaces, and let's add BPI health damage. So now we have all of those options. Let's go ahead. Before we do anything, we want to set current health to 100 as well. Should always start as that. And just to be sure, we can set current health to max health. On begin play. So take damage. Currently an event. Do I want it to be a function? Do I need it to be a function? Do I need to pass data back from it? Kinda do. Yeah, I do. So let's delete that. Come back to here. Take damage. Outputs. Health. Remaining. File. Save. And now take damage as a function that returns how much health is. So really what I want to do is I want to set my current health to my current health minus the damage dealt. And I actually, let me go ahead and compile and save this. Probably want to add another output. This one we would want to be a Boolean tracking whether the player is still alive or is dead. Which of those do I want? They're the same thing. They're the opposite sides of the same coin. It's just a matter of how I want to refer to it. Probably is dead. Because if that's true, then I want to do something else. If he's still alive, I don't care. I'm good with that. I'm setting this current health minus damage dealt less than equal to 0. Then he is dead. Or she. Or they. Probably they, actually. I feel like we're going to work with an androgynous character. It's just sort of how it feels like right now. And then health remaining. Like, we could just leave this as health remaining, and then on the other side test, hey, is the character, is that less than 0? If so, then, you know, whatever. I just think passing the Boolean through from here might be a little more intuitive. All right. Go and close those for now. Come back to our blueprints. We don't really need these add point spend volumes anymore, so I'm going to appropriate these. Well, we'll just make a new one. We can always, these are test things. We can always come back and delete them later. Call it BP volume. I'll just delete the ones in the world that we don't need. All right, so there's the damage volume. All good. Up. On begin overlap. Actually, that cast is pretty helpful, I think, here. Yes. Well, no, we don't need it because we're talking to the interface. For now, for now, I'm just going to disconnect it because we don't need it. But later, I'm being stupid. It's just a cast. We can always cast again later if we need to. We want BPI. All this damage per hit. Remember what I was saying we want to do? Hit, pause, heal over time, full health. But where do I want to do that? Do I want to do that in take damage on main character? I don't know that I can, because it's going to require a timer. The event might have been better. Well, no, because we do need to pass it up. So I could do it here, right? Ideally, now that I'm passing these along, I really like having this functionized for future capabilities. I think is really useful. But anyway, now that I'm passing these along, ideally, he can say here, if they're not dead, then wait 2 seconds or whatever, then start the heal. Like the thing that's bugging me, right, is I'm passing along this information and I want to for various reasons, but I want this functionality, things like the healing and like the timer on the healing, the death functionality. I want all of that code in the player blueprint. I'm guessing what I'm going to end up doing here is coming back here, adding some functions. Actually, well, heal over time. They're already here. I do need at least one function for character down. We need a new boolean for has extra life because eventually one of the power-ups will have a second life. File. By default, they will not. If they don't, then exit game and close. What is it? I thought it was exit. Up the node that I'm looking for. End game. Quit game? Did I try quit? Nope. There it is. If he has an extra life, does not have an extra life, then quit game. So what I can do guy health damage plus is down, is dead, is down. So in here, if that's true, then uh do test person character. Character down. If they are not down, then we want to send them well, they're not down. Yeah, we'll start off by doing this. Delay. For now, we'll set it to be take 2 seconds to fully heal. We're actually going to do that to 1 and not 100 because we may have to work with percentages later. Hmm. So I want to pick this up partway through the timeline, right? I don't really want to start it at 0 because then you drop the player's health to 0. It's a mess. It's not how it should function. Figuring out what time that should be is not that hard. It's just divide current health by max health, and then multiply by whatever the length of this is, which is 2. I guess I could probably just run a sequence here. This is getting really chunky, so I may have to quit soon. Set the new time and then play. We should also have a way to stop the healing, which we plug that straight into there to stop healing. Let's just, I don't know if this is going to work at all. But let's just see. I'm not actually taking damage. That's interesting. Oh, that's why. Silly me. All right, this is getting really chunky though, so I'm gonna be very careful about saving. All right, so 60, 1,000, and I'm back to 100. 60, 20, back to 100. So the timing on that we may need to work on. We do need to make sure we're calling stop heal when we take damage. So it should be here. And just so we can see this in action, I'm actually going to close all of that stuff for a minute. And where do I put my... We've already got a HUD set up just to display our crosshair. Let's go ahead and add to that. We want a progress bar. Go and center that top center. Put it at -50. Position Y should be 0. That's probably good. Size. Make that something big. Let's go with 500. Go bigger. Probably good for now. Y size, something small, like 10 or 15. Go with 1,000 there. Color. We can come back and change that later. You're going to give this BPI health interface. File, save. Go grab that interface. Give it a new function called update health. These will both be floats. All one health current. The other health max. File, save, HUD. We actually need our character again. Because when they take damage, they need to talk to the HUD. Luckily, we already have a reference saved. And we want to update health current, health max. There. I'll say when we update health, we want to talk to our progress bar, which we actually want to read. I think we have to do that into health. Call it progress bar health. I'll say it should start at 100. Yeah, I might want to do the math in here. I'm not sure. For now, we'll do it over here, though. Oh, let's get our progress bar. That. Ooh, headphones are dying. Go ahead and charge those. And actually, we're gonna call it quits here pretty soon. Okay. Check one thing real quick. That's all good. Good. And the last thing we need to do is make sure we're updating it here as well. Get rid of this. Up to our HUD. And update. Oh. All right. See what we got. So there's our progress bar. Took a hit, but didn't go down. Well, that's not great. Explains why it wasn't updating. Well, it sort of explains why. Is type HUD. Sending it update health. I was never saving anything in WHUD. Yep. Oh, that actually worked. And no errors. Well, it is very slow right now. So we'll save everything. Okay, cool. All right. So, uh, in my damage volume, let's back that up to 3.5 seconds before we start healing. And again, that particular functionality I'm going to end up moving. This was also healing a little too quick for me. We're going to pump that up to 3.5 as well. Frame up. 3.5. Use last frame. Great. Perfect. Damage volume. File save. All right, so I'm going to take a hit. Take a second hit. Ooh, okay. There's a different type of delay. Is it retriggerable? It might be retriggerable. And actually, if this works, then 2 seconds might work. Okay, let's go back down to 2 seconds on that. I'll show you what I'm looking at off screen here. So I'm watching this with this new retriggerable delay. And what was happening was it was just feeding into the delay and then never retriggering it. So 2 seconds after the first hit, it would always start to heal. Now, when I go, I take that first hit, take the second hit, retriggers all the way to 2. I still think we want that 3.5 though, because it should be dangerous when you get hit twice. Yeah, and then the game quits. That's perfect. It worked. Okay. Never complain about things that work. Well, also never say never. All right, well, that puts us in a good spot. That is a good prototype for health and damage on the main character. We fixed our interactive object. I am pretty happy with all of that. I am going to up here a little bit.